Sorry about that. That video got cut off, and actually at a pretty crucial moment. We were talking about how 4, 220 is not really the full answer. Yes, that's the intersection. But I want to know in the real world, what does that mean? Question says, after how many months will memberships on both plans cost the same? And that means after 4 months, that's when they're both going to cost $220. Double check that real quick. If I take a 4 and plug it in here, I get 4 times 30, which is 120, plus 100, that's $220, okay? Exactly what it should have been. If I take the same 4 months here, 4 times 50, well, 4 times 5 is 20, tack on 0, 200 plus 20, 220. So after 4 months, it only took 4 months, and that gym that charged you a lot up front is now a better deal after only 4 months, okay? Because it's charging you so much less per month. Number 18, okay, this is one I think a lot of people are probably going to go after. This is just talking about different candies and their calories. So the tough part about this one is that these calorie numbers are awful weird for what we've seen. They're really specific odd numbers. But if you can get the setup right and carry out the problem, even though the numbers get a little bit big, you've got a calculator, so it's going to work fine. 1 Snickers bar. This is my first equation. 1 Snickers bar and 2 Reese's bars count for that many calories. I'll write that out as 1S. I draw a little line through my S so it doesn't look like a 5, okay? Plus 2R equals 737, okay, like the plane. Then my other one, this person had 2 Snickers bars and 1 Reese's cup, and it was 778. So very similar, okay? 2S plus 1R equals 778. Okay? And now I look up here and I go, okay, all right, we're on a roll. This is lined up for elimination. You've at least got to do the setup. I've got the setup done. Let's say you look at those big numbers on the end and go, nope, not doing that one. That's fine, but you have to do the setup. You have to prove to me you can write these equations out, okay? From there, you can decide whether you want to do it or not. Again, this is the review, so I'm going to do all of them, okay? Do not waste your time doing all of these on the test. Pick the 2 that you're going to do the best at, or pick the 2 that you do the best at, and show me that those are the ones you want graded, okay? Because if not, I'm just going to grade the first 2 for everyone that does all of them. Okay, please indicate to me which ones you want. So here I see this is an elimination problem. I just look at the S's because they're the front variables and it's about the same either way. And I think, okay, if I multiply that top equation by a -2, I'm going to get a -2S that's going to cancel. That's perfect. -2S plus negative, oh, I'm sorry, not plus. I was going to write plus -4R, but I should just write that as a -4R, same thing, equals. Guys, when the numbers get like this, please just trust the calculator. You know you're going to need this stuff in there later anyways. So this is a -2 times a 737. I'm sorry, but my times tables didn't go that high whenever I was in 3rd grade, so I never learned that one. It's -1,474. -1,474. And yes, you can do that multiplication in your head. It's not that bad. But if you make a mistake with multiplying this, trying to be a hero and multiply this in your head, there's nothing I can do to help you, okay? I can't see where you went wrong. Our bottom equation stays the same. 2S plus 1R equals 778. And I want to add these 2 things together because when I add them together, I'm going to eliminate my S variables, okay? That leaves me with a -3R equals. Again, this is already, part of this is already in your calculator, so we're just adding 778 to our last answer, plus 778, okay? Equals a -696. We want to divide by -3 and divide by -3. I had a little pause there because this was a negative number, and I was like, ooh, we can't have negative calories. Then I remembered, oh, I've got a negative number on the other side. Whenever I divide both sides by that negative number, I'm going to end up getting a nice positive number. Okay, so divide by -3. I'm choosing my last answer. Turns out that Reese's cup was 232 calories. Okay, Reese's was 232 calories. To find how much a Snickers bar was, I take that information, I plug it back into one of my original equations. Either one of them works, the red equation or the blue equation. They're about the same difficulty either way. I'll just use the top one just because, okay? So 1S, actually they're really not about the same difficulty. If you plug this into R here, we're going to get our answer very quickly because we don't have to solve for S. If you plug in the R value here, you're gonna have to end up solving for S by dividing by 2. But either one of them, they're not hard, okay? 1 plus 2R. Well, we're not using R anymore. We know what R is. It's 232 equals 737. So worst 7 ever. Let's fix that. Okay? 1S, or just S if you want to write it that way, okay? Plus 464 equals 737. Subtract 464 from both sides. We get that S equals some number that I'm not going to try to do on my own. 737 minus 464 is 273. Okay? Now, these are your answers, and you can just leave them that way, but be careful. It says find the calorie count for each candy bar. You might be better off in the end just actually writing your answers out a little bit. Like Reese's is 232 calories. Snickers, or they should put R, not is. Snickers are, not an English teacher, sorry, 273, but that was common sense. Snickers are 273, Reese's are 232 calories. Seriously, who's sitting down and eating one single Reese's cup? Okay, who does that? No one. So, we get on down to number 19, and again, you have to do the setup. Have to. Okay, they each improve their yards by planting daylilies and shrubs. Okay, talking about Kristen and Julia. They bought their supplies from the same store. Okay, kind of just a caveat so people can't say, oh, what about a different store? Kristen spent $78 on 3 daylilies, 6 shrubs. That sounds like one equation to me. Julia spent $164. Oh my gosh, Julia's like my wife. She's just buying all the plants. Spent $164 on 7 daylilies and 12 shrubs. For the record, if you ever go to do some landscaping and buy plants, plants are expensive. Okay? So let's write some equations out. Kristen's equation. 3 daylilies, I'm going to use the letter D for daylilies, plus 6 shrubs, okay, equals $78. Now again, if you want to use X and Y, that's fine, but you have to tell me something like X equals daylilies, Y equals shrubs. You have to do something like that. Otherwise, I can't follow your work. Okay? I can't follow your work. Now, our second equation is going to be the 7 daylilies plus 12 shrubs equals $164. And I look at this as an elimination problem, and specifically I see that I can eliminate this by multiplying my top equation by a -2. When I do that, I get -6D plus negative, I'm sorry, again, I'm about to write plus negative. That still works, but it's not the way we're used to seeing it. We're going to write it as a minus 12S equals 78 times -2 should be a -156. Double check that real quick. -78, oh, I'm sorry, it was a -2, but either way, is -156. And my second equation did not change, okay? It is still going to just be a 7D plus 12S equals 164.